move into module 8. Thank you, Andy. The study room or work room, right? Because even after COVID, right, from time to time, I will see a lot of clients, they are still allowed to work from home. So if you are allowed to work from home, you need to set up your own work desk at home. Then this module is for you. So even though you can't work from home, but then you bring work home to do and spend considerable hours, whether it's at night or during weekdays or over the day in the weekends, this is also for you, right? So whether you realize it or not, the desk setup affects your thinking, affects your focus, affects your decision making, affects your emotional stability, and also affects your productivity. So first, if the living room uses the sofa as the tai chi point, bedroom uses the bed, kitchen uses the stove, then for the study or workroom, the desk becomes the tai chi point. So look at this layout. The desk means the layer is the tai chi point. Then the solid wall behind is the back dragon. And the left side where there's a tablet, wrong. Left side where there's a pen holder, okay, that will be the left dragon. And then on the right side where there's a cup and a tablet and a calculator, that side is the right tiger. So whatever in front of the person is called the front phoenix. So very simple. It's the same as all other rooms in the house. Now, once you know the Tai Chi point, you can immediately start reading the room. Okay. First rule. Avoid placing the desk directly above or directly below what items are? A stove, toilet, and staircase. I repeat, avoid placing the desk directly above or directly below a stove, a toilet, a staircase. Now, for HDB, of course, you won't find this kind of problem, right? You won't be sitting on top of what I call that? Your neighbor below toilet, your neighbor below stove, or or the staircase of the HDB block. I don't think that will happen or in HDB. If it does happen, let me know which HDB block and which level. Okay, so but for offices, you can't tell. You can't tell. For cluster house, for landed, you can't tell. There is a high chance that your desk may be sitting above or below a stove, above or below a toilet, above below staircase. Now, why this is a taboo? Because they create disturbance to your thinking, emotional regulation, health, stability. Okay, if it's on top, we have movement above you. Okay, or fire above you. If it's below, then you have the stove fire burning you. Okay, so this is no. So straight away, I tell you what to avoid already. Now look at this A B C D layout. All right. For those rooms that are big enough to accommodate a desk, most likely this will be the few positions that you might put your desk or most likely Okay, so let us go through these few possible positions. This desk against toilet. There are different ways the desk can clash with the toilet Okay, and these are the 4 different ways right? So let's take a look at layout A. The left dragon is against the toilet. That means sharing the same toilet wall at the wall with the toilet. Okay. So left dragon relates to thinking, left dragon relates to rationality, left dragon relates to processing, left dragon kan relates to problem solving. So what happens if a toilet sitting at this area here about thinking, rationality, processing, problem solving? What happens is that you might have negative thinking, dirty thinking, okay, clouded judgment, or mental exhaustion, right? So it can also affect kidney. it could also affect male vitality. It could also affect energy levels. So that is for layout A. Okay, let's go to layout B. Layout B, the back is against the toilet. Andy is saying don't know, but they are selling the house. Okay. Can noted. Okay, no problem. Okay, layout B, back against the toilet. This one is more jialat lah, more heavier lah. Because why back dragon, right? Relates to support, relates to vitality, relates to stability, relates to posterity. Posterity means future generation. So when your back is against the toilet, it supports 贵人. No, it's not support. 贵人 support weakens. Vitality also drops. Then you also may have long-term medication issue. Because sitting in this manner, the body can never fully rest and recharge. So that's for layout B. Layout C, right tiger against the toilet. Now, the toilet is on the right side already. Okay, so right tiger relates to action, relates to emotion, relates to respond, relates to behavior. Okay, so what may happen? Impulsive action, unorthodox behavior, emotional instability, and also affect the heart and female vitality. So that's for layout C. Layout D, front phoenix against the toilet wall. Okay, now the toilet is directly in front, of course, separated by a wall. So front phoenix relates to future, relates to vision, relates to progression, relates to opportunities. Now your future is facing a toilet. So what happens? Dim future outlook, or having obstacles in progression, or hard to see direction clearly. So it's like every time you look forward, the energy in front is already contaminated. So the key insights here is you notice something. Same toilet, same desk, but different desk position, the impact, the effect, the outcome could be slightly different. So that is why Feng Shui is not about superstition. And we also don't need to know the direction, north, south, east, west. Okay, it's about understanding relationships between forms and human experience. And once you understand this, you no longer just see toilet or a work desk, or you won't be saying, oh, there's a toilet. You start asking, where is it affecting? Okay, what aspect of life does it influence? How does it interact with the Tai Chi point? So that is when your feng shui analysis become alive. All right. Now let's continue with more study room and workroom configuration. So Pepe said, does this apply for dressing table? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. So unless your dressing table is like 5-minute gaudim, you're done with dressing up, then the impact is lesser. For work desk, you'll be sitting down, you'll be thinking, you'll be doing what you can, for your work, for your career. The impact is different because you'll be sitting there for hours. So you have to ask yourself, okay, dressing table, how long you need to take to dress up or to make up or whatever. If it's few hours, then be careful. Given the choice, we will still prefer dragon crossing the hall. Because when you're working, you want stability, you want support, you want clarity, you want rational thinking, you want proper authority and control. And you don't want, the last thing you want is emotional chaos and career instability. So the best is to have a room as a work desk, right? Then you can set it up like a CEO office, which is the best. Okay, so given a choice, yes, we would want this one, dragon crossing the hall. And quick reminder, I've shown you this slide many times. So what we want is yin and yang kind of matching setup. Yeah. Okay. So it's the same principle throughout. Very powerful when applied correctly. Now, let's look at successful people. Take a look at so far can only find a work desk. belonging to Bill Gates, belonging to Warren Buffett, belonging to Steve Jobs. Okay, they are from different industry. They are definitely different personalities and also different styles. Okay, but their desk arrangements, they have similarities. So let me show you. Bill Gates. Look at Bill Gates. Behind him, a window. Okay, but luckily he knows how to lower down the blind. Not ideal, but the blind is down. So the movement behind him is reduced. Next, the desk touches the left wall. That means lock the dragon wall. Okay, lock the dragon. So meaning left side becomes stable, and then entry and exit from desk is from his right side. So that is dragon stable and tiger moving. So good. Okay, good. So this is dragon crossing the hall. I think so. Right? And if it's not dragon crossing the hall, then at least it is a locked dragon. And they say, but his desk a bit far from the back wall. Does it support? Um, it is still supportive. Okay, it is still supportive. But like I say, we don't have the full room to see lah. Okay. Who knows? Maybe the front of the desk is a wall, but we can't tell. But yes, if he can push it back a bit, I believe it will be better. So I agree with you, Andy. But if his room is very huge, very spacious, then pushing it a bit may look like his 格局很小. You get my point? So there must be a proportionate dimension aspect to everything. If the room is very big, then you need to give some space, so that the 格局看起来很大. Can or not, Andy and everyone else? Okay, let's move on. Warren Buffett. Very similar, right? Behind him is also a window, but notice again, heavy wooden blind. Energetically, that creates a very much stronger solid backing. And then again, the desk is touching the left dragon wall. So it's locked the dragon. And then movement from the right side. We can see from here in front, the front phoenix, very open, right? Very open. So very good. Okay. So Warren Buffett. Darren is saying, just like sofa, you have big living room, can't because back dragon push all the way back. The owner of the house feels so cartoon. Exactly. I think last week, Darren, you asked about what if for those very huge living hall, and then so I say put a console behind, right? And then if the back wall happen to be a sector that can take in mountain picture, do that. Okay, do that. So good point, Darren. Okay, Steve Jobs. This is, I think, when this is already he quite botak already. So could be as his later age already. Okay, so what happened here? Steve Jobs, this one even more powerful. Okay, solid wall behind. Okay, solid wall behind. Got tall cabinet support also, but very messy. Very messy. Again, desk touching the left wall, also lock the dragon wall, but there's a window here. If you can see, there's a window here. Okay, so movement is from the right side also. Right, so if you compare these three successful people, too bad I can only find these three. If you can find some other people, you let me know. Okay, we can share in the class next time. So what's the common pattern among these three? Successful people may not know from feng shui consciously, but somehow their setup naturally, intuitively aligns with the form feng shui principles, and that is why they enjoy what they enjoy today. Okay. Okay, to summarize, 3 easy steps to better connection and for performance. Number 1, you must have back support, no movement. Okay, so you remember just now I show you the layout whereby the desk front is facing the toilet wall and behind no support, no good. Okay, or if the desk is facing the wall and behind is the room door, also no good because you lack of back support. Now, when I say back support here, either a solid wall or a space whereby there's absolutely no movement. That means when you sit down, no one can actually walk through behind you freely. Okay, if you can do that, then you can consider your back as having support. Okay, even though let's say your back support is just a thin partition, then it's still good as long as nobody can walk through behind you freely lah. And this is what we call in support already. Can next, strong left support. Of course, given a choice, like you have seen the three successful people, they lock their dragon. Okay, they lock their dragon. So if you can lock the dragon, so therefore, if you really can have spare a room for your work purposes, then set up like Warren Buffett room. Okay, Warren Buffett room or CEO room, right? So when you go into your CEO room, right, or your head of department room, right, you take a look at their arrangement. You know what they are going through really, right? So what we want is preferably lock dragon. Okay, preferably lock dragon. And last but not least, right side. Okay, right side movement. That means right side is the only way that you can come in and go out of the desk. So means tiger movement. Okay, so these three easy steps, and there you go. You have set up your powerful commanding work desk. Now, compare these two rooms, A and B. Which room would you choose if you have a choice? If you want to feel more connected, focused, and supported, A or B? Elaine, all right. If you want to be connected, choose A. Like what Eileen did, and Andy did also. Choose A. Why? Because lock dragon and then dragon crossing the hall, right? Dragon crossing the hall. Okay. Whereas for B, it is lock tiger, tiger crossing the hall, and then dragon is shorter. Okay. So what we want is dragon crossing the hall. Also room A. Now, why? Because solid back support, number one. Number two, desk touching the left dragon wall. That means lock the dragon. Number three, movement from the right side. Okay. And finally, this is the entire thing is dragon crossing the hall. So this whole setup feels stable, feel grounded, feel focused, and feel safe. Okay, compared to room B, while it still has back support here, desk touches the right wall. Movement happens from the left side. So now tiger becomes dominant. Now this is tiger crossing the hall. And over time, this setup can create emotional stress, less grounded thinking, harder to sustain focus, more friction in execution. Oh, why more friction in execution? Okay, let's talk. Put in some time to talk about why more friction in execution. You think about it. I'll come back to this part here. So, environment affects behavior quietly. And most people think success is just a mindset. It is more than a mindset. Okay. Uh, for those who think that success is just mindset, yes, it does play a part, but it's not everything. Okay. So for those who only subscribe to mindset success, then they ignore the space influencing that mindset every single day. Because when your setup constantly support your stability, your focus, your clarity, and your execution, you naturally perform better over time. So after today, go back, look at your desk. If you have a desk at home, not just say nice or not. Ask yourself, is my dragon stable? Is my tiger overactive? Or am I sitting in support or sitting in disturbance? That's when your environment starts working for you instead of against you. Clear? All right. So let's go back to my question just now about the more friction in execution. Darren is saying, good one. Love that. Success is not equal with mindset. That's right. Okay. So for those who are too pro positive thinking, sometimes they need to be realistic and practical also lah. Okay, so where was I? Okay, now on the question about more friction in execution. Now, talk about B. Okay, let me clear the ink. Talk about B, room B. Now, lock tiger. Okay, lock tiger. Lock tiger basically means you are passing the power to the junior. Agree or not? We say that the tiger side is the junior, means your subordinate lah, or your customers or whatever junior lah. So if you pass the power to the junior, and then you are the boss, and you give them instruction to do this, to do that, they may come back to you a lousy order leh. I don't think we should do that leh. Okay, or something like that lah. I mean, you may have juniors coming to you say, no, I don't want to do it. No, this is not a good idea. Or give you 101 excuses why it cannot be done. It is a lame thing to do. Something like that. I'm sure you have experienced that, right? So having right tiger can give you this kind of problem. So if you have this kind of people around you, right? Then of course, when you want to execute certain things, you feel there are more frictions than normal, right? So this is where it comes from, more friction in execution. So Elaine is asking if kid academic is no good, but adopting such thing will see big change. Big change or not, I cannot guarantee. Okay, but I've seen kids improving. Okay, improving. I think of course it must reinforce with qi feng shui. Okay, reinforce qi feng shui. Then again, there's one more disclaimer is that you can't see overnight change. The fastest that I've seen change in terms of academic results is 2 years. 2 years. Okay, 2 years. But of course, it's progressively improving lah. But of course, that progressive improvement I don't think they notice the improvement also lah. But after 2 years, when they look back, say, oh wow, they used to, this student used to fail almost every subject, but now this kids is able to go poly and poly of his choice, and that choice is a top notch choice, and very few people can get in, and he's able to get in. Okay, I've seen that. The fastest I've seen, 2 years. So therefore, children, if you have young children, start young. Okay, start young. Now let's move on. Talk about the back dragon. Solid wall as backing. That's the best. I would say the gold standard. Okay, the gold standard. So when your back is properly supported, you tend to experience more helpful people like superiors, mentors, teachers. Now, from my experience, when we talk about helpful people, 贵人, sometimes the 贵人 don't even know you. Sometimes you don't even know the 贵人, or you don't even know there's such 贵人exists in your universe or in your system, but they are your 贵人. Why I say that? Is because somehow when you need help, right, they just show up or they make a decision. I mean, they're in a position to make a decision, and that decision help you resolve your problem somehow. Okay, so for me, even I don't know him, he don't know me. If he make that decision and that decision help me to solve my own problem, okay, he is my 贵人 already. So we don't have to know our 贵人. Okay, next, having back support also give you more grounded, practical thinking, better vitality, easier wealth accumulation, and more wise, rational decision making. Why? Because psychologically and energetically, your system feels supported. You don't constantly feel exposed, especially when your back is exposed. You don't constantly feel you have to be on alert. For those back against the door, I'm sure you feel you have to be on alert, especially in the office setting. And then you don't constantly feel you need to stay on guard. And when the back is stable, your mind become stable also. Now, back against window. Behind you, window. Okay. Then, of course, with window comes movement. And then with movement, there may be sound disturbance as well. So what happened over time? Is easier. I say easier to attract petty people, 小人, feel like a lone fighter. Lone fighter means when you encounter problem, right? Everybody's siam. And then you find that you are only alone. You have to fight the war alone. That's a very scary feeling. Huh? Okay. And then you might get distracted easily, hard to stay seated in the seat, and feeling insecure subconsciously. So if you have seen Warren Buffett has window, who else? Bill Gates has window. Okay. But what they did, they remedy it. They have blinds down, right? Okay. So of course, the best solution is to change position to a position where there is a full wall supporting you. But of course, if cannot, then do what Bill Gates do what Warren Buffett do. Use curtain, use blind, and then reduce movement behind. Reduce movement behind means you cannot allow people to freely walk behind you. Now you have the skill to choose a desk. Okay, back against corridor. Open concept, open concept, and then almost uh not only corridor, pathway also, walkway also. So it's very similar. People walking behind, people are free to walk behind you, or movement behind you, noise behind you, or talking behind you. So the nervous system never fully relax. Okay, effect becomes 小人 or gossip, and then the lone fighter syndrome. Okay, and then you get distracted easily, hard to focus. So therefore, from time to time, for those who really want to focus, they will shift that. I mean, they don't shift that desk, but they shift to somewhere that they can focus on. Maybe meeting room. They book the meeting room for the whole week, and then they will just work inside the meeting room alone. And then they feel insecure as well, because subconsciously the body keeps monitoring the movement behind. Okay, front phoenix. Now come to front phoenix already. Front phoenix, of course, we want open, we want neat and spacious. Okay, so look in front. You know, we know the front phoenix relates to your future, relates to vision, your vision, relates to your opportunities, and relates to your progression. So ideally uncluttered, spacious, and easy visual flow, and not immediate war. So the effect is, if you have a good front phoenix, more forward-looking mindset, better prospect, better academic performance. So you see those CEO with good front phoenix they are a visionary and they are more strategic. The more you go up, right, that is the perks that you have for having a CEO room. Okay. And also subconsciously you become more strategic as well because you are more forward-looking mindset. Okay. And when the front is open, the mind also feels open. Pepe is asking office high cubicle block front how. Office high cubicle block front how. Okay, so that is your question. Okay, I'll come to that later. Yeah. Now, front against a wall. So this is very similar to Pepe's situation. Office high cubicle block front how. Now I can tell you there are a lot of configurations especially for officers and a lot of restraint, constraint, whatever restraint you can think of. And then sometimes even at home, whereby almost everything is within the client's control. When you suggest them a solution, they will come back to say 101 reason why they don't want to do it. It's lousy to do it. It doesn't make sense to do it. Okay, let me share. Now, front against wall. Now imagine you sit down right in front of a wall. Energetically, it's like your future keeps hitting a wall. You cannot progress. People take 10 steps to reach where they want to go to. You probably need double, triple the steps. Right? So it's like snake and ladder. You climb, then you slide down again. Climb, slide down again. So the effect is harder to make progress, needs more effort to move forward, and creativity and vision also become restricted. So it's like a 井底之蛙, that kind of vision. Okay, so not impossible to succeed, but the effort to result ratios becomes doesn't make sense. Okay, doesn't make sense already. It becomes heavier. Now, what can we do? Okay, what can we do? Remedy. You place an open view picture on the wall to virtually, subconsciously open up the front phoenix. This solution for home, I think this is doable, right? Nothing ugly, right? Okay, but I have clients, I'm just wondering whether they want to change or not. But they'll tell me, not nice, put an open field picture like that, not nice. So they reject. So 1 year later, doing review, it's still a blank wall. It's still a hardcore wall. Okay, then seriously, bo pian lah. Or you choose not to adopt. Okay, so yeah, so that's one solution. Pei Pei, one solution for you. So it's up to you whether you want to adopt this or not. Or any other picture that brings about the similar energy. Open up virtually and subconsciously open up the front phoenix for you. Is that okay? Let's talk about left dragon. Now, left dragon, let's say we want the preferred dragon crossing the hall, and if you can, lock dragon. Okay, lock dragon. This is still the preferred setup. Effect, better vitality, better problem solving ability, more support from, if let's say you're a student, more support from classmate, peers. If you're working, it will be your peers, and better focus and better concentration. So back to Elaine question about a kid's academic, right? Yeah. So better focus, better concentration. Remember, you lock the left dragon, which is the kankwa, you are actually activating the processing power. Yeah, the kankwa means the mind, the processing power. Okay. So because this setup creates stability on the dragon side, controlled movement on the tiger side. So the mind become more composed, become more strategic. Okay. Pepe is asking if cannot plan, then put sky picture as it apply for all sector in Qi Feng Shui. Yes, anything that you feel that it can open up your front phoenix and still satisfy the sector rule. Okay, tiger crossing the hall or lock tiger is something that if you can avoid, okay, if you can avoid, because this is directly opposite from what we have discussed just now. The effect, you cannot sit still, impatient, easily distracted, poor focus, lack of peer support, lack of junior support, and then friction in execution. So for children, let's say this is the desk for children, then this type of setup often shows up as difficulty concentrating, easily agitated. Why? Because tiger side is the Li Gua. Li Gua is all about emotion and the heart. Okay, so easily agitated. And study halfway, walk away. That means cannot sit still lah. Because the tiger side is overactive already. Now, a study room is not just a room for studying or working. It is a space that shape attention, shape your focus, emotional regulation, decision making, mental endurance. Basically means focus. Yeah. And many parents today spend thousands on tuition, thousands on enrichment, but the child's environment every day is quietly weakening their ability to focus. So after today, when you look at a desk setup, don't just ask enough space or not. Or ask, is the mind supported here? Is the future blocked here? Is the person sitting in stability or disturbance? This is how interior form feng shui becomes practical and alive. All right, let me show you a real case study. Back in sometime November 2022, just 2 years after COVID, November 2022, a client texted me. She said, I'm changing to a new seat in my in the office, in the office this year. Can I seek your advice? This is in 2022. Can I seek your advice and check the rate? Okay. Check the rate means seek the advice basically means is to help her pick among the available seats to choose from. So now publicly, it sounded like just changing seats. But privately, she shared something else with me. She had been hoping for a promotion for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. Okay. So I look at the available desk option she could choose from and using from feng shui principles because I couldn't go down. Okay. I couldn't go down to the place it's sensitive venue. Okay. So I use from feng shui lah. And then I asked her to use a compass to take some quick measurement to show me so that I can agak-agak. Okay. Using the qi feng shui to help also. So I guided her to pick this particular desk. So this is a photo she took after she shifted and set it up. Yeah. So let's analyze it together. The desk setup, was it perfect? Not quite. Not quite. Okay. Not quite. So this setup is not quite perfect, but it is the same as all the cubicles, all the desks. So that means you have to pick among the bad one, the next best alternative desk. So that is the approach. So behind her was a window, not ideal, but luckily the blind could be fully lowered. So I told her very clearly, keep the blind down. And lucky thing is the culture there, all the blind are down all the time. So luckily for the culture there, so not a problem. Then the left side had a cubicle partition, meaning the left dragon is supported, and then so less movement. Movement in and out of the desk happen from the right side. Okay, from the right side. All right. So which is good. So overall, even though not perfect, it still fulfill the 3 steps to be connected. Back support, left support, and then the right movement. So Pepe is asking, is the desk her front phoenix block? Yes, but luckily this is not the full height kind of cubicle, the human's height kind of cubicle. This is actually quite lower. When she straightened her body, she's able to look front. Okay, she's able to look front. So not that bad. Okay, not that bad. So once I pick this desk for her, then I use Qi Feng Shui to ask her to place certain things at certain place lah. I'm sure you can see there are certificates here, certificate desk, here. So you should know straight away this is what direction it is lah. Okay, but this is Qi Feng Shui, right? So this is what you can do at the very first opportunity. If you have the chance to pick your own desk, use whatever you have learned to pick your future for yourself. Yeah. Now fast forward. Then was 22 November 2022. Now so 1 year passed, 2023 passed, and then early first Q of 2024. We fast forward a bit. In March 2024, she texted me again. And this time she said, "Good afternoon, Master Yo. I would like to share with you that I just got promoted." Whoa, finally. Okay, thank you for your advice. She finally got what she had been hoping for a very, 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 very long time. Okay, now, by me showing you this, I'm not trying to impress you. Okay, but I'm trying to impress upon you that don't let things that you can't do stop you from doing things that you can. If you can find the next best alternative desk among all the lousy one, then choose that one. This is something that you can do. Okay, and once you have that, then you can always use Qi Feng Shui to make it even better. Right? So am I saying move desk equal instant promotion? Of course not. She still need her capability, still need her effort, still need the timing, and still need the opportunity. But what the environment did was just support her thinking, support her visibility, support her execution, and then reduce unnecessary friction. And sometimes that subtle support is enough to shift the outcome. It took 1 year, 1 full year for the result to show. 1 full year. Okay? Right? So do you know what her previous desk looked like? Okay. It was almost a mirror flip. Mirror flip. That means moving in and out of the left side. In other words, tiger stronger, dragon weaker. So can you see why some people work very, very, very hard, but always feel unsupported, always feel overlooked, always feel very drained, always feel very stuck? but sometimes it's not only the person, it's also the environment constantly working against them. So environment may not decide everything, but environment can either support your effort or constantly weaken your effort. And over years, that difference becomes, wow, noticeably huge. So that's why interior form feng shui is powerful, because sometimes a small positional shift can quietly, I say quietly, change how you think, change how people perceive you, change how opportunities flow to you. And that changes the trajectory of life over time. So before we wrap up this module about work desk, let me show you one more real case study. And this one, very interesting. It was a small office setup. Now, the CEO was sitting here. Okay, CEO is sitting here on the right side. The admin clerk sitting here. Okay, and very importantly, from the center of the room, if you take the lower pan out, right, this sector here is northwest. Right, northwest. Okay, so remember, northwest represent 乾卦, northwest represent authority, northwest represent leadership, northwest represent head of the organization, northwest represent what else? Seniority. So immediately there is already a symbolic issue forming. Agree or not? Now let's examine the CEO desk first. Feel free to type in your comment. I'm sure by now you should already pick up something about these two desks. So let's examine the CEO desk. Now CEO desk. Okay, before that, Andy is saying high turnover resignation of the clerk. Oh, good point. Good point. Okay. Before this admin clerk, this particular admin clerk was recruited. Yeah, before that, very high turnover resignation. Good point, Andy. Good point. Until this particular admin clerk came in, and then she stayed in this position for many years. So that means she's able to take on that northwest energy very well. Okay, something to take note. Sometimes we may also ask how long she has been here. She can tell you very many years, and she still sits in the northwest. Something is telling. Okay, something is telling. So good point, Andy. All right, so let's examine the CEO desk. Solid wall behind, which is good. Solid wall is behind here, which is good. And then at least got support. Then the dash is pressed against the right wall, means lock tiger, meaning tiger stronger. Okay, and movement in and out from the left side. Can you already feel the problem? Now, that's not what did I say about lock tiger side. Okay, or lock tiger side means you pass the power to your junior. You abdicate, like 皇帝上位 like that. You abdicate the power to the junior. Where was I? Okay, so now here, look at CEO. You can already feel the problem is something is wrong with it. So tiger stronger basically means subordinate may overpower, harder to control the staff, okay, or authority being challenged. So sometimes the boss is still the boss in title. For this case, it's true, but energetically not fully sitting in command. I mean, no power. So let's compare with the admin clerk. Admin clerk, solid wall behind, very good. Then left dragon, lock left dragon, wow, full power. Sit in northwest some more. Then movement from the right side. So this fulfill the 3 steps, right? That's why I talk about the 3 steps to set up your work desk. You have back support, you have left support, you have right movement, right? And then so now this admin clerk have strong position, strong setup, strong authority symbolism. Okay, and what happened? The admin clerk only became extremely powerful in the office, not officially but energetically. Okay, a lot of things she could not instruct all the other staff around as though she is the CEO, and she's able to override people. She's able to override CEO instruction as well. She's able to influence the CEO to make certain kind of decisions. So quietly over time, if someone junior is able to do all these things, and especially if that person is 性素不正, this is bad for the company. 性素不正 means no integrity one, then this is bad for the company. Now, what happened? She also siphon company money. Siphon, slowly steal off. Okay. And when the CEO eventually found out, the CEO had a very hard time firing her. So can you see how fascinating this is? The setup was silently strengthening the admin clerk's authority, the admin clerk control, the admin clerk influence, while weakening the CEO's command position. Now, of course, feng shui does not make someone go and siphon the money lah. Feng shui don't do that lah. Okay, but feng shui can influence someone who has bad intention to do that. So character, integrity still matters. And this is why I always say great power must be used responsibility. I think Spider-Man said that, not me. I just borrowed the statement. Because when someone with wrong intention, bad intention, sits in the wrong empowered setup, problems can happen. So what was my advice to the boss, to CEO? Very simple, swap more. Okay, but anyway, it became a police case, and then she was fired. I think she was fired. So I told the CEO, now that she's fired, right? You go and take back your authority. That means go and sit back in your command position. Okay, so swap position. Put the CEO in the stronger commanding setup and move the admin desk to somewhere else. Okay. Sometimes the issue is not just management skill, it's also who is sitting in power energetically. So the workspace is never just furniture. It quietly shape authority, influence decision making, confidence, team dynamics. And when you understand how to read it, you can immediately see who is empowered, who is being suppressed, who is carrying authority properly, and where the imbalance is forming. So Andy is saying, asking, the CEO's client also empower him. Yes, I believe so. He didn't share that, but I believe so. Okay.